doctors. Welcome to this last episode, XYZ, the finale from the A to Z series of Trending Ask. And we are happy to bring this AGOG Academy of Global Ops and Gynecology, bringing this A to Z series, that is Trending Ask series. So I welcome you all of AGOG.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा।
I'm very happy to introduce the coordinator of today's episode, Dr. Aditi Tandon Ma'am. Ma'am is an obstetrician and gynecologist and a laparoscopic surgeon at Dr. Sudha Tandon Fertility IVF Endoscopy and Maternity Center from Mumbai. So I will hand it over to Dr. Tandon Ma'am. Ma'am, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prachi. So this is the last episode in the task series, the A to Z series that Dr. Komal Chavan has planned. And we have something very exciting and interesting planned for you. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our convener for the program, Dr. Komal Chavan. She is Medical Director at Chavan Maternity and Nursing Home, Senior Consultant, DNB Teacher, and Unit Chief at VM Desai Hospital, Mumbai. She is ex-honorary professor at R.N. Cooper and HBT Medical College. She was the past chairperson of the FOXY Medical Disorders in Pregnancy Committee. She is also zonal coordinator for FOXY, chairperson MOG's Family Welfare and MTP Committee, joint secretary ISOPAR Mumbai chapter. She has various awards to her credit. She needs absolutely no introduction.
Yes, thank you.
And
Yes.
she is, of course, she's contesting for the vice president post for FOXY. So we need to support her, and she has all of our support. Best wishes for the elections, madam.
Thank you so much.
I would also like to introduce the co-convener for this program, Dr. Niranjan Chavan. He is professor and unit chief at LPMMC Sion Hospital, joint treasurer FOXY, past president MOGS, a member of Oncology Committee SAFOG, joint secretary AFG, dean AGOG, and chief content director at Highgrad and FEMA's courses, editor-in-chief FEMA's JGOG and TOA journal. He has various international and national journals with more than 150 citations, and of course, there's many awards to his credit. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, Aditi. I think it was a lovely coordination by you and a lovely introduction. And at the outset, I welcome all of you for the Trending Ask the Expert series. And today is XYZ, the finale episode. And you know, when we start something, it definitely comes to an end. And so is our series. We loved being the part of the series, getting to you the trending topics from A to Z. And that was the idea, like how we would talk about very focused topics, though very trending. So it was a lovely journey with all the lovely coordinators and lovely faculties. We had all the eminent faculties, master in their subjects, being the part of this program. I'm really, really honored for so many past presidents of Foxy, luminaries, teachers of teachers being here present in this A to Z series. And today's episode, the XYZ, when we talk about X and Y, definitely we think about our chromosomes, the genetics. So we have a prenatal screening topic which will be discussed by Dr. Narendra Malhotra. Sir is my lucky charm. He was there in the first episode also. He's there in the last episode also. So that was nothing more which I can ask, and he agreed so immediately to be part of the program. And something which is the most trending is the youth. The young people are coming up with a lot of social media revolution, how to go about and do the gynac practice. And when I wrote this series, that topic was there in my mind right from the first day when I conceptualized. I should have something focused related to social media and gynac because it is the in thing. We need to build our practice, we need to know, and we need to grow as per the situation around us, and we need to be updated. And Dr. Narendra Malhotra himself is so much into social media. So I have everything, full package here, the finale package here. And I'm so happy that Dr. Saurabh Dani, Dr. Arun Barova, our very two senior eminent persons are going to chair the talk. Dr. Rishikesh Pai is the chief guest. He is currently the president of Foxy, and I'm so honored by his presence. Has Dr. Pai sir joined, Aditi? He is in the flight.
No, not yet joined.
He will be coming soon. Introduce him then, but let's call upon our guest of honor for today, Dr. Ashwath Kumar. So may I have the CV of Dr. Ashwath Kumar? And I want to tell that Ashwath sir, it's your birthday today. You are celebrating, and we are celebrating our finale episode. So you have joined our celebration. So welcome you to our celebration, and thank you for being part of the program. And Ashwath Kumar sir has been the vice president of Foxy. We have worked with him when he was a vice president very closely. Also when he was a national coordinator, I think 2 years we have been closely working. He's done a fantastic work in Foxy. Technology, teaching programs is his forte. Having done diploma in advanced laparoscopy France, diploma in laparoscopic management at Advanced Endometriosis Austria, and fellow gynec oncology GCRI. He is also the professor at Jubilee Hospital, Thrissur, and I think he is doing lovely, amazing work there, and he's loved by all his PGs and his teachers. And he's currently the president of KFOG. I think this is old. I know he's the president, and he is definitely there. What we want, his support or his blessings, he's always there for us. So thank you so much. And over to you to address the audience.
Thank you. So first of all, I thank Dr. Komal and Dr. Aditi and Niranjan. Most important is that this is the second time I am here in this program, and I'm so happy. Hello, have you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. In between a phone came, sorry. So I'm so happy that being a part of this program for the second time, and it is the finale. I think I was in the opening episode. I think ABC opening episode was, and as such, I'm in the last episode also. Even if today it was a busy day for me, everybody is waiting for the party, but I cannot say no to Dr. Komal and Dr. Aditi when they called me for a program. They wanted me to be a part of the program as a chairperson or a speaker, but because of my small commitment today evening, I could not be. But it's a very interesting program as Komal has started at the Academy of Global Obstetrics of Gynecology. So many people are a part of during these years of our hard work. Many people or thousands of people are utilizing it, and it's very focused. You just be there for 2 hours. You get the maximum benefit on the topics of your interest. Today it is very interesting, and you can have today Narendra Malhotra sir speaking on prenatal screening for a genetic disorder. What, when, and why. I have heard sir's talk before the similar topic. Excellent it will be, and whoever is going to attend, and he is a person, as Komal rightly told, when it comes to a social media, sir was a person who was initially the part of all Foxy friends. Everything was social media was started to in gynecology was popularized by Narendra Malhotra. Malhotra sir. So, and thank you being a part of it. And I always respect sir and madam. And the chairperson Saurabh Dani sir and Dr. Arun Barwa sir are there. Coming to the panel discussion, the social media and gynec practice, one of the most important. And I understood in a meeting when I was standing with my postgraduates, Aditi came to meet me actually just to tell hi. So all the postgraduates, my postgraduate standing near me went to, sir, we would like to take photo with Aditi. Then I told she is much popular than you. So social media is something entirely different actually. Till now, when I go for conferences in Mumbai, my PGs tell, take one photo with Aditi and come. Then I told that, okay, I will take one photo. So that is a popularity she has. So apt person and Rohan. So apt people both for, we can say king and queen of social media of gynecology. They will be moderating the panel on social media and gynec practice with an excellent panel. You can see the panelists, they are the people who are the most active in social media. So once again, I congratulate, not quite best of luck, even congratulation is also okay for Komal madam. We are sure that she will win and she will be a part of Foxy for the future. So all the best. Komal madam, and all the best for the program. Thank you being a part of this program, making me a part of the. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashwath sir. It was lovely hearing to you. And definitely you are also very popular among youth. Is Aditi, I'm really grateful that Aditi is the part of the program. I was not knowing that there is so much fan following of Aditi down south. Definitely we have these two young icons, Aditi, Rohan in Mumbai, and they are the future of Foxy. So I'm really happy that they are here, and I wish you a good celebration. Have a good day. And thank you for sparing your time and being among us. So once again, a very happy birthday. And Dr. Niranjan also wants to wish you.
Hi.
Hi, Niranjan sir. Hi.
Hi, Ashwath. Hi.
I was not knowing you were sitting on the side. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Presently, I am sitting on the side only. But the seat is very hot.
Don't worry. Now it will be cold within a month. You don't worry at all.
Though I am on the driving seat, but Komal is actually the main driver, and I'm really happy the efforts which he has done in the last 5 years, 3 years in Foxy, and she got an extension of 9 months. But actually, she has been with me for last 25 years. And since the time I am also there in Foxy for more than now 21 years, she is known to everyone. And I'm really proud of her, the way effort she has done. And I'm very thankful for Dr. Narendra Malhotra, sir, to be always there standing. And of course, Ashwath and all the youngsters who are going to be the part of this panel. And really, we look forward to go ahead with this grand finale. So thank you, Ashwath, for joining today. And I wish you again a very happy birthday.
Thank you.
Healthy, prosperous, and a great year to come. And I'm sure your PGs are going to have a good time in the evening.
We are going out for a movie and we'll enjoy.
So enjoy your day. Thank you for being. And we will begin with the talk. So I'll hand over to Aditi to conduct the further proceedings.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Can we have the CVs of the chairpersons, Saiti? Yeah, I would like to, it gives me immense pleasure to invite Dr. Saurabh Dani. He is consultant OBGYN at Lifeview Namaha Cloud9 Mumbai. He is president of ISPAT, Indian Society for Prenatal Diagnosis and Therapy. He is treasurer of Bombay Nursing Home Association and past president and advisor of AFG Mumbai. His special interest is high-risk pregnancy and newborn screening. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Aditi.
Our next chairperson is Dr. Arun Barua. I don't think he has joined yet. He is immediate past president of Dibrugarh ONG Society and Isar, Northeast Isar, consultant Apollo Fertility Guwahati, Assam. Chairperson, Northeast ISAR and Northeast IAGE, President, the Brooker OBGY Society, Senior Vice President, IMA Assam State Branch, and Vice President, Sovsky. And he's an active Rotarian for more than 25 years. I'll just coordinate with, I'll just try contacting him. Dr. Saurabh, you could introduce Professor Narendra Malhotra, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Yeah, good evening, sir. It is a pleasure to introduce you, and it has been a pleasure with working with him very closely when he was the ISPAT president and I was the secretary at that time. And everybody definitely knows Dr. Narendra Malhotra, but to give a formal introduction, he is the managing director of the Global Rainbow Healthcare Agra. He's the director of ART Rainbow IVF, president of SAG, vice president SAFOG and WPM. He's the past president of practically all the organizations that we all know of and we have been part of. He's the director of Ian Donald School of Ultrasound and has number of publications in national and international journals. He's most importantly is also the director of Manyata and he's the chairman of Smriti, which is an NGO. Over to you, Dr. Narendra Malhotra.
Very good evening to all of you. Happy birthday to Ashwath. And let me just share my screen. So thank you, Komal, for inviting me here to speak on something, of course, which is one of my favorite topics. Is my screen visible there?
You will have to, yeah, now it's perfect. Perfect.
So prenatal screening test in developing countries, why, when, and what? Before I go into prenatal testing and screening, we need to know that we have to counsel the patient a lot for prenatal screening. And sometimes it is not possible for the busy doctors. So that we have the iMoms app, which is a pregnancy app, which does all the counseling for you all. And this app is free for patients. And if the patients download, they get a lot of information about pregnancy, about diet, about Garbh Sanskar, Garbh Sambad, etc., everything. And 1,000+ doctors are prescribing this app, and it won the Pradhan Mantri's second best app in India challenge very recently, and it was featured among the 30 best apps in the G20, which was held. And Jaideep has devised this. It is her baby, and it is 8 lakh women, pregnant women, are logged into it. So if you have not advised this to your patients, here is something which does the counseling for you. We have referred to all these guidelines while making this presentation, and of course, the Foxy expert group is the major one which came out with these guidelines. Then I get by with a little help from my friends. All my friends, colleagues and all have helped me to make this guidelines and make this presentation. And I thank ISPAT, INSWOG, and all the other organizations which have been a part of it. Let's see what is the problem. The problem of congenital and genetic disorders in India is about 2 to 5%. Out of which chromosomal are 0.5 and Down syndrome being the maximum 1 in 900. And that is what we are aimed at screening, and then of course, single gene Edwards-Patau syndrome. So Down syndrome is 60% of the chromosomal anomalies, babies. Then you have trisomy 18, trisomy 13, gonosomes, that is Klinefelters, Turners, and other chromosomal aberrations like DMDs, etc., and single gene disorders. So in 1929, it was first said that pregnancy, doctors should look at pregnancy. And everything was done at 37 weeks. And then came the inversion of this pyramid of care. And they said everything should now be done in first trimester triage, which was given by Professor Nicolaides. And Nicolaides' hypothesis said the first trimester triage should have the fetal medicine person looking after at 12 weeks. And then, of course, the OBGYN. Then later on, he added non-communicable disease as a rooftop penthouse to this pyramid. And this pyramid, non-communicable disease, you and me, like maternal medicine specialists, will look after this. And then the fetal medicine specialist and post-pregnancy care again by the maternal medicine specialist. So this is the care which we need to give to our patients for all the diagnosis. When we just came out 5 years down the line in practice after MD, all these scans, ultrasound had started, were at 24 weeks and nothing, only heartbeat was seen. Then by 2005, the 11 to 14 week scan and the 20-week scan became almost equal for diagnosing congenital anomalies. Today, it is the 11 to 13 weeks, 6 days. It's very specific, 11 to 13 weeks, 6 days, not week number 14. And I'll tell you that. And major everything is now diagnosed at this stage, and only a little bit of fetal echo or things which are late anomaly can go up to 23 weeks. So watch this picture carefully. Now, this is about a 10 weeks fetus, and this is where the markers come, the biochemical markers. The placenta secretes HCG, inhibin, PAPA, PIGF, and SFLT, which is not here. The adrenals secrete unconjugated estriol. The nuchal translucency is a lymph, which lymph glands from the head and neck goes to the thorax from the behind the neck. So if the lymph collects there, it is nuchal translucency. And of course, the liver has alpha fetoproteins and open neural tube defects. So once we know if something is wrong in placentation, all these inhibin, PAPA, HCG, and when is it wrong? When we have chromosomal anomalies or when we have faulty placentation or PIH. So screening is done for a disorder which is common and which has significant impact on prenatal health morbidity. So that's Downs, Edwards, Patau's, single gene disorders, Klinefelter's, Turner's. So we do screening for all this. We don't screen for chromosome 1, 2, 3 because they abort and they are not live born. So that screening, that testing is done in the product of conception for future pregnancy planning. And what the screening does, it will identify, it will be done for everyone. And it will identify out of everyone who is high risk or who is low risk. When I was in Singapore learning amniocentesis with Dr. Ananda Kumar in NUH, 35 years age was the a priori risk. And everyone over 35 in 1990 had an amniocentesis. And only 5 or 6 came out positive. So we were doing 100 amniocentesis to pick up 5 Downs or something. Or not even 5, 1 Downs. And that was, we were doing too much of invasive test. So it changed. Then only high risk should be. So what do we screen? In the first and the second trimester, we screen for aneuploidies by ultrasound, by biochemistry, and by cell-free DNA. In the first and second trimester, we also screen for anomalies by ultrasound. In the first trimester and early second trimester, we screen for preeclampsia, which is very, very important to include in our screening protocols, by history, mean arterial pressure, uterine artery Doppler, and biochemical PIGF and things like that. And of course, early second trimester, now even at 13 weeks, 6 days, for cervical length to predict preterm labor. So screening test will tell you which is high risk or no. It is not diagnosis. Or we have to make a diagnostic test, then only we'll get the report. So Foxy in 90 was under Amit Patki, when he was the chairman of prenatal committee, came out with a basic antenatal checklist. And 2019, we came out with this comprehensive checklist, which I can email or which is probably on the Foxy website, where we had recommended test and preferable test in first, second, and third trimesters. And then we made the genetic screening protocol, which is very important. So pregnancy, discuss the screening test, patient may accept or not accept, doesn't accept, take a signature, a non-acceptant consent. If accepts, depending on what phase she has come in pregnancy, do that screening test. So what do we do as biochemical markers? First trimester, dual marker, PAPA, pre-beta HCG. Second trimester, quadruple marker, alpha fetoprotein, unconjugated estriol, HCG, inhibin. No triple test. No triple test. Please don't ask or advise triple test. It's outdated. And when we do this is Dr. Suresh's Indian data. We can pick up almost 90% if we do a combined first trimester screening. That means we add the PAPA and PIGF and alpha fetoproteins in the first trimester and add the NT-NB. So what we call is the pentamarker or the Be Happy test or the pentamarker test. Similarly, for preeclampsia, you might get almost 100% prediction if you do all these tests and combined risk. So this is the Be Happy test and this is the pentamarker test, the 5 markers in the first trimester. And this is known as combined test or extended first trimester screening, EFTS. So EFTS is what we are now propagating. Now let's see what about these anomalies. So downs will run in 1 in 800. The others are 1 in 10,000. So when the patient comes to us, we give her a risk depending on her age and previous. So if she's 35, we tell her it's high risk. Then we do all the markers and ultrasound, and then we modify the risk. So she's still high risk, or she's intermediate risk, or borderline risk. And then finally we take out which is high risk and do an invasive diagnostic test. So the timelines are before 14 weeks, after 14 weeks. Unfortunately, week number 14, we have no data, and week number 14 is a gray area, and no screening test should be applied on week number 14. So if your CRL comes over 84, week number 14, please don't advise her contingent, extended, quadruple, or except for NIPS, which can be done anytime. And in the second trimester, of course, we do the quadruple test. So here is these tests, and they give you 80 to 90% risk estimation. Correct measurement of fetal crown rump length, NT-NB with a zoomed image like this, tricuspid regurgitation, ductus venosus, all add to your risk protocol. And as I told you, if you do a combined extended first trimester screening, and you can pick up 95% with confidence, which is high risk and which is low risk. So our protocol would be to do an extended test, put them into high and low risk and borderline. High risk, put them into CVS. Low risk, reassure, continue ANC, and borderline risk, second trimester screening by NIPS or the other ultrasound markers. So this is the Indian scenario, or today we put the penta marker and decide whether we're going to do CVS, NIPS, or if everything is normal, then anomaly scan at 20 weeks. So the proposal for Indians or developing country is they do a combined or an extended FTS and integrated first and second trimester screening, or only screen by NIPS. Now, only screening by NIPS may come as in the future and very near future. Right now, we can screen 5, or we do an extended NIPS about 22 chromosomes. And if we can do full karyotype, which is also available or about to be available, then it will be only NIPS and it will be almost diagnostic. So pre-eclampsia, you add PIGF and S-flip. So PIGF, PAPE, and all the risk of history, blood pressure, uterine artery Doppler, and combine them and make a risk. And the uterine artery Doppler is taken like this. Why we want to do this at 11 to 13 weeks? Because we can start low dose aspirin, 150, before 16 weeks. Aspirin started after 16 weeks has no role. So please don't start aspirin in second or third trimester, please. 16 weeks or before, then only it prevents. And huge trials and papers support that. Now let's come to the second trimester. This was first. In the second trimester, you have quadruple. The triple test is marked by red, only 65%, so we don't do it. 75% if you're doing only quadruple and ultrasound. And if you have done the first trimester and added the second trimester, 93% of pickup rate. Even if the chromosomal is low risk, a good detailed ultrasound, or what we call as a genetic sonogram, is required at 11 to 13 weeks and also in the second trimester. So second trimester ultrasound, because some anomalies, structural anomalies, may not have a chromosomal defect and they're just structurally absent. So this a high ultrasound expertise is required for this, and 3D can be added. So what do we do what is our protocol? Quadruple plus anomaly, put them in high or low risk. High risk, do an amniocentesis. Low risk, continue the antenatal care as you are doing. That is it. And if you can add 3D to your scan, it will be much better. Why we want it this way? Because of the MTP law. Even though it is now permissible up to 24 weeks, and just last month, even about 24 weeks, the court said you can go ahead and terminate this pregnancy, but then we should stick to what the law is. Now we've done the screening and we have done the amniocentesis and we have taken out the chorion. So what do we do now with that tissue? Most of you will write karyotype. Even I used to do that. CVS, advise karyotype. Amniocentesis, advise karyotype. Now we must understand that what we are asking for, what we are looking for, and then only advise whether it is going to be karyotype or any other. So which method to use? Karyotype, FISH, microarray, sequencing, or NGS or microarray or NGS, depending on what you are looking at, what you want as diagnosis. So you have all these. And in the karyotype also, we have the quick PCR. So if QF-PCR is applied, you get it earlier, the report earlier, within a week or 10 days. Otherwise, the karyotype will take 1 month. So we should know karyotype tells us structural anomalies, FISH tells us syndromes, microarray is done for missed abortions, no karyotype for missed abortions, biochemical test is done for metabolic disorders, molecular testing like Sanger sequence, NGS, exome sequencing, whole genome sequence is done for single gene disorders and for other complex genetic anomalies which might be there. So draw a correct pedigree and then order the test. So let's see, karyotype will pick up trisomies, will pick up some chromosomal deletions, and will pick up translocations. So if you're suspecting this, ask for a karyotype. FISH will pick up whichever chromosome you're testing for. So usually we test for 13, 18, 21, X and Y. So only 5 we do. Otherwise, it becomes very, very expensive. And you get colored signals like this in FISH. QF-PCR is karyotype done rapidly and will pick up mosaicism also. So it can be done. Then you have 2 types of QF-PCR. The basic, which is done for 5 chromosomes, and the extended, which is done for 20 other common microdeletions with those 5 common chromosomal anomalies. So this is how we do order a test. Microarray is done on a dead tissue. Even on live tissue, parental karyotype, when you are suspecting even more problem, which is not picked up by a single karyotype. So CMA is for my missed abortion tissue, placental tissue, and the others. And you will get a next generation sequencing or NGS can sequence entire genome, or you can ask for a whole genome. Now this is expensive. So if you know that the probond, the previous baby has certain genetic disorder, you can modify and test by NGS only for that single gene or that. So that can be done, and can be done by single nucleotide variations, SNVs and SNPs, and all that can be applied for. So here is a karyotype, more advanced is microarray, more advanced is sequencing, and finally you have the whole genome sequencing. Whole genome sequences is not routinely asked for, but it is becoming cheaper and cheaper, and we can do it even for ourselves and know what other genetic disorders are brewing inside us, and that you can tell. But it's a very scary test to do, because you'll know what that you're not genetically perfect, even if you look like one, and you can pick up. So whole genome sequence is not a routine test by all that. So finally, what to apply is the take-home message. You can do fully integrated, stepwise sequential, or contingent. Let's see what these 3 are. Fully integrated means you test in the first trimester, don't take the risk out, test again quadruple in the second trimester and all ultrasound, then make a risk. So, but then by this time, fetus become 20 weeks. So abortion will be risky. It is allowed, but risky. You do a stepwise. You do the first trimester and say only high or low risk. High risk, do CVS. Low risk, you test all of them all over again. Again, too many second trimester testing quadruple will be there. So double the cost. So we propose a contingent screening, a double marker and an ultrasound, or an extended fetal, and the risk is low, borderline, or high. Low risk, no further screening. So majority of them will come here. Out of 100, 90 will come here. Borderline, another 10 will go there, and only 10 will show you some high risk, which need CVS or an NIPT or an amniocentesis. So by this method, you have reduced the invasive testing, and you reduced to almost 95% of pickup rate by doing screening only. So once again, revising the genetic protocol, pregnancy, discuss the genetic screening, patient accepts, suggest the screening depending on the age, not accepts, antenatal care continue, take a non-acceptance consent. She accepts if she is in first trimester, depending on how affording, combined test, FTS, extended FTS, or NIPS straight away, which might be the future. And second trimester, quadruple or NIPS with ultrasound. Divide them into low, borderline, and high risk. And low risk, continue and do a good ultrasound in the second trimester. Some people do alpha fetoprotein again in the second trimester to rule out open neural tube defects. But if you're good in ultrasound, that's good enough. Or your first trimester AFP, this debate will always go on between the geneticist and us and the ultrasound people. And you pre-test counseling is very, very important. And if it is intermediate risk, NIPS or a second trimester. So to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, screening should be offered to all population irrespective of the risk. A pre and post-test counseling is very, very important. And look at this, the defects could be environmental, chromosomal, single gene, complex. And when I do NIPT, I will pick up 75% of chromosomal. When I do amniocentesis, and I will pick up all chromosomal etiology and half of single gene. But when I do a good ultrasound, I pick up all the defects or the markers. So you have to be very, very good in ultrasound yourself or have a very, very good expert, fetal medicine specialist to do your 11 to 13 weeks and the 22 weeks. Rest you do yourself. So ultrasound offers more clinical information today if done properly. Thank you very much for having me here, Dr. Komal. I was a little rushed because I have to rush into the OT as they're calling me repeatedly. I am here for a few questions and I will join you back in another half an hour again. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Narendra Malhotra. It was a very detailed and a very simplified way of presenting the prenatal diagnosis. And I think the slide where you really differentiated between which genetic modality to be used really explains a lot as to what we should be using as obstetricians when we really encounter and we are looking at genetic anomalies. And I think one biggest message that you did pass across was that triple marker should no more be advised, and I think it goes for all the obstetricians out there. We need to stop advising triple marker because that doesn't help anybody. Dr. Barua, welcome. Initially, I think we couldn't meet. So over to you, sir.
Okay. It's as usual, Narendra has always been a master of the subject, and when he's been given this particular topic, I am sure he can speak at any point of time and he can make us all so engrossed on his talk. But anyway, having said so, the most important thing is today in the market, we have multiple industry partners who actually try to join us and motivate obstetricians for different kinds of tests without knowing the final way which is the ideal test. And I'm really happy that he has prescribed, given us an overview of what test to be done, what as an obstetrician we expect from the patient. So the patients can also be guided in a particular line the way we think of. Like I just tell you, a few days back, we had a patient who had a first trimester diagnosis was oligohydramnios. I was surprised all types of tests were advised to that particular patient. This is only because we have been under the influence of the industry people, and that is why we do not like to indulge our own knowledge to help our patients. I'm sure this particular presentation would go a long way to enhance the knowledge across the country, and I'm sure all OBGYN will applaud his presentation the way we used to do earlier. He is really a gem of this particular subject, and I really appreciate the way he presented.
Thank you, Arun Barua sir, for joining in. Welcome. And
Actually,
I totally agree with you. This presentation was really insightful, and we should know what to do and what not to do, how to take every test what we offer. We try to offer every test because it's available, but do we get the adequate information? That is the question. So I think, thank you. A lovely talk by Narendra Malhotra sir, as always, and Saurabh, who is also a master of the subject because he's so much into it. So thank you for chairing this session. It was lovely having this session. The first session went off so well. And thank you, Aditi. I hand over to you now to start the next session.
Presentation is available to anyone who wants to see on SlideShare.
Yes,
so on SlideShare, all my presentations are there. Feel free to use them. Acknowledge or don't acknowledge, doesn't matter, but the knowledge should go.
Yes, and also SlideShare and also the recording of this webinar also will be freely available. So you can hear Dr. Narendra Malhotra speak again and again so that it gets reinforced into our minds,
Only one thing, if you want to see it, please apply it to your patient. Just my
Yes.
word to all the
Application. Yes.
Yes, application is equally important because when we talk of women's healthcare professionals, I think application will play a very big role.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, I know Dr. Narendra Malhotra, sir, is very busy today because I think we both had a very catastrophic patient. But I really want sir to be part of as an expert on the panel because we want him to give his inputs too. So, sir, we can't. Sir, we can unmute, sir.
I said I'm carrying my laptop in the OT, so I'll talk to you from there.
Yes, yes. So now even we are all glued to hear this lovely panel. So I hand over to Rohan and Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. Aditi, I think you're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, fantastic talk, sir. Thank you. And we now move on to the next panel discussion. Can I share my screen? Okay. Yeah. So
let me introduce you, Aditi. It'll be weird for you to introduce yourself. Our moderator for this panel is Dr. Aditi Tandon. Can you please have a slide, please? Dr. Aditi Tandon is an endoscopic surgeon. She's an MOGS Youth Council member. She's won multiple awards. Can I see Dr. Aditi's slide, please? I think Aditi is one of the, among all our panelists, she's again another fantastic social media.
Prachi, you need to put up Aditi's PPT. Yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
Good, going home. She's an ex-assistant professor at DY Patil. As I said, she's won multiple awards like the Durusha Distinguished Youth Award 2022, the Foxy Young Turk Award, the Best Youth Council Member 2019-20, Yuva Isar Researcher of the Year, Ashok Mehra Prize for the Best Endoscopy. Can we have the next?
Yeah, I would like to introduce my co-moderator for the panel today, Dr. Rohan Palshetkar. He needs absolutely no introduction. He is the unit head of Bloom IVF, National Coordinator for the Foxy YTP Committee, Associate Professor at DY Patil, School of Medicine, Treasurer MOGS, MOGS.
Aditi, thanks. I think we'll just get to the panel.
Yes. So I would just like to share my screen. If you could allow me to share my screen, Saiti.
Yeah. We have our panelists in our slides.
If you could stop screen share.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about social media and how doctors are on it. And while Aditi gets the slide started, I think it's something that is prevalent in our practice. And I think it's important that each one of us understands what are the tips and tricks to being on social media, especially. So we've got a slightly interesting panel on this, and we have a few questions for our panelists who are quite seasoned veterans now, I should say, on the social media platform. So Aditi, I'll hand over to you to begin with our panel.
Yeah. So the panel today is not like the usual kind of panel discussions that we normally have. It's not academic. There are no right or wrong answers. But I think it's very much the need of the hour to discuss, doctors on social media. Okay, one second. Okay, I'm not able to navigate my slides. Just a second.
We know that
Double click on this slide.
Yeah. So we know my voice is echoing.
No, I think someone else has two screens on. Yeah,
it's fine now. Yeah, so we know that there are so many users that use social media in India, not only just in India, I think world over, it's basically a global platform, and that's an advantage that social media poses. You can pretty much interact with anyone in the world through social media. But I think misinformation regarding health is so prevalent. And that is precisely why us doctors need to have a presence on social media for the sake of countering this misinformation, and for these people, for the general public, to have quality, factual information, a credible source for their information, because the misinformation can be very misleading and harmful. And interestingly, so there are a lot of non-doctors, who post about health, but they don't have any restrictions to post what they post about health. But ironically, there are restrictions on doctors that are posting. Should it be the other way around? It's just food for thought. So we have a varied list of panelists today. And it's my pleasure to welcome them. Dr. Priya Bhave, she is consultant head at Department of Reproductive Medicine, Bansal Hospital, Bhopal. I think she's been the pioneer of sharing long form content on social media. If I'm not wrong, I think she's probably been the very first few who has started sharing stuff on social media, on YouTube. To share the corporate aspect of things, Dr. Nitish Murdia, he will be joining us. He's busy in another panel. He is a co-founder and director of Indira IVF, member of the National ART and Surrogacy Board. Dr. Pooja Nadkarni Singh, I think, so, she's known as Marathon Boy on Instagram, and we love your content. She is the co-founder of Nimaya, Surat and Vadodara. Dr. Yuvraj Jadeja is practically a celebrity gynecologist on Instagram. He is also medical director at Nimaya Women's Center, Vadodara and Mumbai. He's also been a TEDx speaker. Dr. Surakshit, he is known as Dr. Baby Maker on Instagram. He is founder of Indigo Women's Center, Chennai. Dr. Deepthi, she is a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist at Antonio Pinto Rosario Maternity Hospital, Goa. And she's known as Dr. Boombastic on Instagram. Very interesting handle, I have to say. Dr. Apurva Pallam Reddy, she is IVF consultant and cosmetic gynecologist at Phoenix Specialty Center, Bangalore. We absolutely love seeing her in, the saris on Instagram, in her OPD. It's absolutely inspiring. Dr. Mohil Patel, he is a gynecologist, obstetrician, and infertility specialist from Ankur Maternity Center, Home and Clinic, Ahmedabad. Dr. Varun Shah, he is director and chief consultant at Inception.
Aditi, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have Dr. Rishikesh Pai who's joined us, our chief guest for the day. Could you just introduce her?
Yes.
Yes, I think Dr. Pai has joined. Even I was going to interrupt.
I just
Yes,
landed in Tirupati for the South Zone Yatra that is going on at present, trying to get a entry into the Tirupati. हम लोग last late Latif na, सब late करते हैं. Say hi to Dr. Madhuri.
Yes, hello, hi. So we are so happy to have Dr. Madhuri madam and Dr. Pai both here.
I've been to Tirupati twice, so it doesn't matter. बाहर से ही नमन कर देंगे उनको भगवान को. Anyway, so don't have to introduce me here. Abhi I am about to phase out in my life, so you don't have to tell anything about me. But all the, I'm very happy that you are having this ongoing CMEs, and Komal, all of you are there. And let me see who all are there now in the this thing. Dr. Rohan, I could hear, and Dr. Niranjan, Dr. Komal. Then we have got Aditi Tandon, who is coordinating all the program, and we have the great teacher Ashwat Kumar, who is a guest of honor with me. Dr. Narendra Malhotra is speaking about prenatal screening, and we have got many other. I think there's a panel on social media and gynec practice, which is very important. Aditi Tandon and Rohan are, doing that panel, and it is so very important. I can even see Saurabh Dani and Arun Barua who are going to chair the session of Dr. Narendra Malhotra. And, basically the social media is very important. I think one of the things you all youngsters have to do is to teach the older people how to handle social media, because when we were, there, we were not knowing how to do it. So it's a handicap for us at present. We are at a handicap because we don't know how to handle social media that well. So anyway, wish you the very best, and I hope that this goes very well, and it is a good learning experience for all of you. Thank you, Komal, for calling me.
Yes,
Thank
thank you. Thank you so much, sir, that for assuring and being there. We are very happy that you're part of this program. This is the finale episode of our A to Z series, and you are in the land of Tirupati, and we all need blessings of Tirupati. So thank you so much, Dr. Pai and Dr. Madhuri Patel, madam, both we could see. Best wishes for your yatra. I think you're doing a fabulous job. It is really a revolution in Foxy, and we all are supporting and with you.
So today we are at Tirupati, and then tomorrow we'll travel to Chennai. So we have done first part of the yatra. We started from Vizag, and then did 3 cities, and then went to Vijayawada, then 2 cities, and now we are in the third leg, that is the Tamil Nadu leg is starting. That is in 2 parts, because Tamil Nadu is a very big state, and we'll reach Kanyakumari and then go back upwards across Kerala, and then go to Hubli, Belgaum, Dharwad, and then Mysuru, and then finally end the yatra in Bangalore. And then another exciting part will start, and that is the gender equity run that will start from Mumbai and go all the way across Gujarat, Rajasthan, and end in Delhi. And simultaneously from Puri, there will be the second run that will cross Orissa state and Jharkhand, and will then cross Madhya Pradesh and end in Delhi. So the yatra is the north-south yatra, and the run is the east-west run. So hopefully by then I'll cover the entire country. That was my wish, that I should do it. I should reach the people and cover as many people as well, which I'm very happy that I've achieved. And that's what it is all about. You should do things that make you happy in your inside. Your inner happiness and inner peace is very important. Thank you, Komal, and I hope that you do well in your life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your wishes. They mean a lot. And thank you. Now we can go ahead, Aditi.
Okay, ma'am. I'll just share my screen again. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yeah, Aditi. Just play your presentation.
Yeah. Our next panelist is Dr. Divya Vora. She has just recently, in fact, finished her residency, and she's currently working at Joseph Hospitals, and she has 125K followers, and she's very popular with the youth. She's known as the girl next door on Instagram. There seems to be some.
Just double click on your screen, Aditi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our last panelist is Dr. Tirtha. She is a consultant at Sethi's Endoscopic Surgical Center and Shivani Maternity Home. She's on Instagram as Gyneverse. So I'd like Rohan to ask the first question.
Firstly, I want to thank all the panelists for taking out their valuable time and coming for this panel. At the outset, I'd like to wish Komal ma'am all the best for the vice president elections. The voting is already started since yesterday, 1st August. And if you haven't yet voted, please vote, and because every vote matters. And of course, vote for Komal ma'am as well. Best of luck, ma'am. So let me begin with the first question. So Dr. Priya Bhave ma'am, I'm going to bring this to you since you're one of the starting points of where we began with the social media. So obviously social media has its pros and cons. In your viewpoint, what do you think it is? Priya ma'am? I had seen, yeah. No, I think Priya ma'am is a little bit caught up.
I think she was
Okay,
there.
I'm just looking. Yuvraj, I'm gonna. Okay, Priya ma'am's here. Yeah.
Hi,
Hi, Priya
I'm
ma'am.
so
Sorry,
sorry I
I'm just.
lost the connection for a bit.
No worries. I'm just going to repeat the question. Social media, what according to you are the pros and cons of social media currently in today's era?
So as Aditi pointed out, I was one of the first people to, jump on the bandwagon of YouTube. And that was a time when hardly any of us were on social media. And I started as an attempt for my own patients, because you counsel the patients and then you can probably just tell them the link that, you can go back and revisit, because the time that the patient is in consulting, they're so preoccupied that they're not even understanding what you're saying. But then it kind of increased, and now practically I think all of us make videos. So for me, I think the pros are that the patient gets a connect to the doctor even before they visit the doctor. That is one. The second thing is that because in India we see a lot of patients, the time per patient that we get is very limited. So many times the finer aspects or the nuances we are able to bring out with long form content. That's the one that I've been doing mostly. So I think that is the pros. The cons are, of course, that, the patient sees something in scan, she'll go to Google, she'll see a video, and then by the time, even before she has come inside to see you, she is all panicky and anxious and crying sometimes. So I think that's what.
Absolutely, ma'am. I completely agree with you. The information that we can disseminate is going to save the patient's time as well as the doctor's time in.
I think we lost Rohan. Would anyone like to add on the pros and cons of social media? Maybe, yeah, Dr. Varun?
Yeah. So the great pro would be that it's a platform where you can share a lot of information, just like what Madam said, but you can actually specifically target your audience. So that is very important. So it is not just for the people who are visiting you, but it is for your prospective client as well. So that is and it's a great medium which everybody knows that you can reach to the end of the world. So this is a great pro. The con would be that it's a constant effort. So just like an algorithm of Instagram, you have to be on your toes. So you have to really give good content. So for that, you need to manage your time. Otherwise, majorly, there are no cons. If you use it well, it's a useful thing.
Absolutely. I think it's a very powerful tool and we should all use it to its optimal benefits. Would anyone else like to add any more pros and cons?
It also helps in brand building. I mean, I think if I put success stories, if I put pictures, the people around and who are probably patients can relate to this photograph if we keep doing it. So I started Instagram way back in 2014 when nobody was on Instagram. Everybody was on Facebook and people used to tell me, why do you want to post success stories on Instagram? And eventually everybody shifted there. So people know. So now many of my new patients have been following me since 2 years. So they know me. So it doesn't look very, it's familiarity, it's credit. I think there's some kind of credibility that they're coming to you. Again, the cons are if they can put negative comments. See, if something happens, if the patient is not satisfied, it's not a Google review, but they can just write anything on your Instagram page in the comment section. And of course, we can delete, block, but then it becomes a little bit of a mess when somebody can, actually interfere. And so I think that's the con. I mean, of the always.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest advantages is your reach. Today, you are sitting initially, if you were great at your work, say example, I'm sitting in a city like Vadodara. I was known in Baroda, or I was known in say 50-kilometer radius. Today, there is no boundaries. If you have work, you're showcasing it in the right way. You're known in Mumbai, you're known in Delhi, you're known in San Francisco. So the reach is wide if you are putting out the right content, which is very easy, which was very difficult for for generations of doctors 15 years back, say for example, someone sitting in Mumbai could not become famous in Guwahati, which has now become easier. So that's, and your networking is increased. You get to meet so many people, so many doctors. Like today, a patient of mine wants to shift, and like for example, just recently I had a gay couple who wanted surrogacy. We know that we cannot do it in our country, but you have these people on social media in USA, in Europe who are doing it, and you can immediately take their number and talk to them and refer them. So that's the negativity. Two things. One is time. Like if you are a practicing doctor, you are short of time. Making content is not easy, and sometimes you're just in that rat race again. First you were in the rat race of patients and surgeries and your IVF cycles. Now you're in a rat race of putting out 5 bajte hai, 9 bajte. You're like, oh shit, what do I have today? Have I prepared something to post today? Every Sunday it's like, oh, mujhe 1 week ka content plan karna hai. So time is a big thing. And second most important, I feel it is a little controversial, is the competitiveness, which you whether like it or not, you're going to get into. You're competing with people who are not, the same as you are. You're competing with non-medicos, and it sometimes gets really frustrating because then you're competing with people who have absolutely no credibility.
True.
Absolutely. While Aditi just gets the slides up, I also wanted to say that even language, I think Mohil, you'll be able to give a little bit of an insight into that language also is something that we are able to overcome, which is one of the biggest pros. Like you can be in your regional languages. Mohil, can you just put a little bit of light on that as well?
Hi, Rohan. How are you?
I'm great, Mohil. Please let us know.
My language is the most barrier. क्योंकि पेशेंट कुछ समझ के आता है हमारे पास, कुछ बोलता है, हम लोग कुछ समझाते हैं और फिर मैस्ड अप क्रिएट हो जाता है.
Absolutely. I think, Mohil, that's a fantastic point. Yeah, please go on.
अभी एक पेशेंट था मेरा, I have told them to go ahead with the NIPT. Her NT scan is 3.1, right?
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Her NT scan is 3.1. तो उसको गुजराती में सब समझा दिया मैंने. And afterwards, she had searched on the Google, और उसके बाद सोशल मीडिया में जो भी सर्च करते हो वो सोशल मीडिया में वो रील्स में वही आता है उनका. तो पेशेंट वाज लाइक, सही सर, मुझे एनआईपीटी नहीं करवाना, मुझे एमनियोसेंटेसिस करवाना है.
Absolutely.
तो समझाना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है पेशेंट के लिए.
I agree. So I think that's fantastic how you put it. Ki with the language barrier, or rather I would say with the ability to cross the language barrier, it's made it a lot simpler to get to patients the information that we need. Aditi, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to add one more, incident. I was speaking to like a mother and daughter, and the mother was also consuming content on Instagram. So was the daughter, and the mother was saying that it's kind of helped break the ice and start difficult conversations that probably you would have never had in families or between a mother and daughter, because people are being so open about things on social media. So I think that's also, it was very heartwarming to hear. So that's also one of the aspects. It has helped, especially the kind of field that we are in, it's kind of helped have these difficult conversations at home, which probably they would have never had.
Even teenage girls, I'm extremely sorry to interrupt you guys. Even teenage girls right nowadays have searched lots of things on the social media, and they are trying to be a doctor among us. Like, sir, we know the stuff.
Yeah,
that is the cons of social media, basically.
Yeah, true. Okay. So I think maybe this question I would want each one of you all to answer with just maybe a line or two. What is your end goal on social media? What is it that drives you, and why are you on social media? We'll start with Dr. Pooja.
Yeah, for me, it's about being real. Mine is a personal account. I've not yet changed into a creator's account or a business account yet. For me, it was just a hobby, and now it's I just want to show what I do on a day-to-day basis, which may inspire people, which may want patients to come to me. So that's my goal on social media.
Fantastic. Dr. Apurva. Apurva, are you there?
I just seen her a minute ago.
Logged in. Okay, Dr. Tirtha.
Hi. For me, social media was a way of boosting my confidence. It was an outlet for my creativity. I started off as putting out videos just to boost my self-confidence, and eventually, as it picked up, it just became like a treasure house for information. It's not just us putting out information. It's a lot of things that even we learn from social media. So as and when it is going, for me, it's just I put out information to convey how I can do it more creatively and connect. I've also connected with a lot of like-minded people, like so many people over here I know through social media. So that is a big pro.
Absolutely, yes. And not only just, within the country, even anywhere over the world, that's a big advantage of social media. Agreed. Dr. Deepti? I think you're mute. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hi. So I think what drives me is I used to be part of an institution back in CMC Vellore. So there was a lot of teaching, which I really missed because I like explaining concepts to people. So what drives me is now I can, do that a little bit because now I'm in private and I don't get to as much. And I think what I really like about all of us being on social media is there's so much negative energy around doctors in India these days. You hear of violence and people bad-mouthing doctors. So if they get to see that, we are also human, we're doing all of this not for, none of us have much financial gains in putting out, besides getting patients, I don't think any of us are really, pushing the financial thing. So I think that builds trust and builds confidence in people. And I think if everybody's perception of doctors changes, it'll be a much safer place to practice in, finally.
Absolutely. I would completely agree with you. Dr. Divya, what is your take?
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Aditi and Dr. Rohan, for this panel. I feel like a small ant amongst so many great people here, and all the very best, Dr. Komal ma'am.
Conference.
Yeah. Go ahead, Divya.
So for me, I honestly did not really have an end goal when I got onto social media. I was actually doing COVID duty, and for the time when I used to be in quarantine, I realized that I had so many friends calling me and asking me very basic questions about, their period is delayed by 5 days, or they're pregnant, what to do, where to go, because they had nowhere to go during that time. And it was literally the time I was completing my DNB. And I realized that, okay, fine, I really want to start making content and see where this goes. Cut to a point where I realized that it is helping a lot of people around the country, around the world, and they're getting to know so much about their body just by my content. So that is something that drives me. The ability to be able to give information to so many people at one time. We are an overly populated country, and we do not find the time to speak to every patient and counsel them regarding what's going on with them. So if there's a platform where they can watch us speak and learn from us, I think it's great. So as of now, I'm on social media for the awareness point of view, for the giving out information, for the simplification of very complex diseases, disorders, and letting people understand how their bodies function. And I hope it eventually helps me build a brand for myself also.
Absolutely. I think what you said is very right. Knowledge is power. And if you know what is happening, you'll be able to make better decisions for yourself and your health. So that's fantastic. Dr. Yuvraj.
See, I am very selfish on social media. I have a very tunnel vision. My end goal on social media, one is branding myself. right? Second is to show people around the world that this is the work that I am and this is my ability because I'm confident in myself. Influencing, spreading awareness and all, for me at least, is a byproduct because uske bina hoga nahi. Correct? Because if you tell me that you provide content, give half an hour every day for 365 days, you're not going to earn a penny, or ek bhi patient usse nahi aayega tumhare paas, I'll stop tomorrow.
Right.
I don't need it. Because it started at, and also I started at a very, of course, COVID was one. I mean, I can take the high road and say that I started off with COVID, but also it also started at a point where I was starting my private practice, you know. So for a lot of youngsters and for a lot of practitioners who are starting their private practice, at least social media definitely helped me. So that for me, my end goal was, yes, I wanted to project myself, brand myself as someone who works well and then give an option, have a good reach. And yes, influencing, networking and awareness was a byproduct of all of it.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Yeah, I think we have Apurva back with us. Apurva?
Yes, Aditi. Hi. Sorry.
Question was, what is your end goal on social media and why are you on social media?
I think, that Yuvraj and everyone else pretty much have summed it up for us. I keep saying that, for us to kind of let our patients know that we're good, first a patient has to come to you. Only then will they kind of know that you're good. But the thing with social media is that all the work that you're doing, when you're putting it out there, there are a whole lot of people who know that you're doing good work, who kind of connect with you, and that it's. And I keep saying, if finding a good doctor is like finding a good partner. One might work for you and the other might not. So you need to kind of have the connection with your doctor as well, because be it fertility, be it surgery, or even pregnancy, you're trusting your whole health and life in another person's hand whom you've just met. So to have a 5-minute connect in a consult is going to be difficult as compared to seeing that person on a regular basis and seeing what they do.
Right. Absolutely. Dr. Varun?
Yeah. So in a very single line, because I think everything else is already been said. For me, the end goal is to reach and to brand myself. That's it.
Fair. Okay. Great.
Original LMPM match.
Move on to the next question. Rohan, you want to take this?
Yeah. So obviously we've been talking about content, and Yuvraj talked about almost making videos every day. Is it really going to end up helping us? So let me begin with Tirtha. Is Tirtha here? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Tirtha. How do you decide what to post about? What really ends up what makes your brain tinker towards what target audience wants, and how do you come up with your content?
So mine is pretty simple. Whatever queries patients ask me in the OPD, I just note it down. And one fine day, like probably on a Sunday, I sit and I batch the videos, I shoot it. Like very simple queries, like the patient comes up and like, I ate 2 papayas and I still didn't get my periods. And the concentration time of our audience is, I've seen the watch time maximum is 7 seconds. So that's all I can put up. So that is how I conceptualize my videos. It's very simple. I just note it down in my notes section and I shoot the videos based on that.
All right. Pooja, now my next question is to you. Since you are one of the early beginners of Instagram when nobody was really on it, what according to you is good content? Like, what do you think is what do the patients or what does the general public want to see?
So I think everybody has their own type of content. So like I know what Tirtha will put, I know how Yuvraj will post, I know how Apurva will post. So I think your audience is suited, audience wants to see that. That is why they are following you. So I think whatever comes naturally and you're good at it, like I'm not good at making videos. I can't make smart videos. I know that. So I'll shoot what I do. So if I have an interesting case getting delivered.
I'll disagree, yeah? But continue.
Yeah, so if I've got something interesting, somebody got a baby after so many years, I just, put it up there in a reel or something like that. And otherwise, I put personal content as well because patients want to see what I'm doing otherwise. That is what they keep asking me. And of course, consultations and teleconsultations happen in the DMs. So that's seeing the content. If I put one video, I get at least 25 to 30 DMs asking for a consultation. So that is there. So I think that works for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Priya ma'am, the last question in this slide, I want to just put it across to you. As I talked about in the pros and cons, that language becomes a bit of a barrier. So how difficult is it to frame things in various languages? I want to ask you that because since you're making long form content, I want to know, are you able to cater to that larger audience, or do you prefer to choose the main common languages that would be spoken?
Rohan, I have been on YouTube now, I think for almost 9 years. I posted my first video in 2013 and I experimented. So there was a time when I would dub my videos in Marathi and in other languages. Then there was a time I contemplated starting an English channel, same content in English. But what actually worked out for me and what was sustainable for me for last 10 years is making content in Hindi, because that caters to almost 70% of patients. There is a class of patients who doesn't understand English, but we'll always put up some, pointers on the side or some videos. So at least for me, I'm not experimenting with too many languages. I'm sticking to Hindi. And because I've learned Hindi over school, I speak in Hindi. So it was never a problem to explain to patients. In fact, patients are very happy with my Hindi. They tell me that, you're good at it and we understand what you say. So I think it's worked out so far.
Absolutely. Varun, could you also shed some light on that? Because you do put up reels in various languages as well. So that's why I just wanted to ask you about that. Varun, you're muted.
So Rohan, the correction is that I am right now only putting in English, but as what the madam said is absolutely correct. In fact, just 3 days back, I was contemplating starting my new channel in Hindi and put the content in Hindi, because it is very important that with the language, which is primarily English, you are connecting with a very limited subset of the people. If you are talking, because majority of my reels are talking reels. And in that type, if you have the vernacular languages, sometimes at times I would feel that I would put something in Gujarati as well, which is my mother tongue. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is a high possibility you would reach to major masses if you have a good hold on the vernacular languages.
Aditi, should we go to the next question?
Rohan, can I add something? I think it is, this language, there is always this debate. And a lot of times patients the audience also keeps on telling you, also someone even pulls your leg, bahut English jaan raha hai, or whatever, XYZ. Correct? But you know what? I think technically speaking, it is on what medium you are on, right? Like for example, Priya ma'am is on YouTube. YouTube has a class that actually requires Hindi. That is what I feel personally. It doesn't mean that English doesn't work. But at the same time on Instagram, I think Instagram has this crowd, which again, majority would understand English. So on Instagram, if you're doing English, it works. But on Facebook and YouTube, if you're just putting on English, it might not work. So it's also where you are, so where the class is, because that kind of also drives you to the audience, because wo possibly nahi hai. We all have tried this. I think all of us have got into this thing in our head कि अच्छा यार ये इंग्लिश में रीच कम हो रही है, चलो अब इंग्लिश में भी वीडियो बनाओ, फिर हिंदी में भी बनाओ, फिर दोनों जगह पोस्ट करो. 5 days you will do it and then you'll stop.
I understand what you mean. It eventually does burn up your time. And I think as you said, Yuvraj, if it's not converting into patients and all and not into your practice, we're just going to end up stop doing that. Absolutely. Aditi, please.
Yeah. So, when we talk of sharing stuff about patients, consent is definitely very important. So I would like to ask Apurva, do you take any particular special consent to post pictures of say the patients or babies or intraoperative pictures on social media? Okay, Pooja, can you take that?
Yeah, so I ask them verbally. I don't take a written consent, but my patients are opposite. If I don't post, then they get hyper. They tell me, why did you not put my baby's photo?
Yeah.
I get such kind of a patient clientele, and one more hospital I have 21st century. So sometimes I don't put those photos or normal delivery pictures. So they also get offended. So I don't take a written consent, but definitely there are some patients who tell me they don't write IVF. You can put the photos, but don't write IVF. That is communicated beforehand. And there are some few patients who tell me don't post. So I don't post.
Correct.
So
yeah. In fact, yeah, some patients actually come and ask you to make a reel.
yes, they ask me.
Yeah. Okay. Divya.
So very honestly, I get very excited as soon as the baby is out. So the first thing I'll go and ask the mother once she feels better is that, can I please take a picture with your baby? I honestly have not taken any intra-op pictures because I'm not even in that phase where I'm doing anything individually. One, I'm always working under someone or assisting, or there's not been a time where I'm doing anything alone where I can be the one making decisions and basically asking. So that's one thing. And baby pictures, yes, it's always verbal consent, and only when they say yes, I post the picture. That's about it. Regarding regulations, I don't think there's any clear line on whether we can put a picture like this on social media and on which kind of platforms, and how much can we give away about the patient's history. But it would be nice to have those. But talking about regulations, there's so many regulations there needs to be. So once that list starts, it's going to be never ending.
Absolutely. So I think when you talk of regulations, the NMC, the bill, which hasn't really come into play, but it was talked about, I think maybe a year ago, which said that, you cannot put intraoperative photos, you cannot put patient testimonials, and you cannot put pictures of your patients or even success stories. Of course, we don't know what the status of it is as of now, and everyone is posting. But it would probably be unfair if that actually comes into play, because it allows the patients also to make decisions based on what the doctor is posting, and it also allows other doctors to learn from their colleagues when they post interesting cases or intraoperative pictures. So as long as the patient confidentiality is maintained and the privacy of the patient is maintained and consent is taken, I think it should be okay. Mohil, you post a lot of pictures of your patients and babies. Do you take a particular consent, or do you just verbally ask them?
Hi, Didi.
Yeah.
I'm taking consent from every patient's written consent, that too.
Okay.
Because I don't want any kind of medical legal aspect in my life, because I have too many in my life. I have 2 to 3 court cases going on because of something happened to the patient, that amniotic fluid embolism or something else. So I personally don't want anything that comes to me like सुबह उठे और मिला आपको कोर्ट से नोटिस की सर आप आ जाओ, हम मिलते हैं, कोर्ट पे फाइट करते हैं. So I'm taking written consent, or as Pooja ma'am has told us that पेशेंट सामने से झगड़ा करते हैं, सर हमारा रिल डाला नहीं आप लोगों ने, तो वो भी हमारे साथ होता है. तो I'm, to be on a safer side, I'm taking a consent on a written basis. I have a consent of it. If anyone wants to share, I will.
That's a good point to note. Maybe we should all do that. It be in writing, even if you verbally explain to them, which I'm sure all of us do, but just for our legal safety, to safeguard ourselves, it's good to have a.
Rohan, just imagine, patient कल उठ के बोलेगा, सर मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं था आपको verbally में. So what will we do?
I absolutely agree with you, Mohil. It's similarly like when we do our laparoscopy workshops. Let's take it at a simpler level. We always take a consent from the patients that you're going to be part of a live surgical workshop, and the surgery will be shown for teaching purposes. If we're using it for social media, I think it's important that we do discuss it with the patients that, look, if you don't want your confidentiality, because we do put up pictures sometimes with stickers on the face to hide the confidentiality or the identity of the person. So in that terms, like I think what Mohil, what you're saying is right. That it's better to just take a written consent, especially if we're making a movie or we're taking any pictures or posting pictures. And if we have their consent, I think it just makes life easier for us more than anything else.
Yeah, and some patients, as long as everything is okay, they'll be okay with it. The minute something goes wrong, maybe they might have a problem.
Even I want to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Some of the patients has not want to reveal their baby's face on the social media, like Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli did, right?
Yes.
So they are telling us no. So we are not putting anything about that. So it is very necessity. If they give verbal consent no, and someone has make the video or patient that video got viral, and then patient can sue us anytime.
Absolutely, Mohil. I think that's a
also because sometimes it just allays their anxiety and it just makes them feel happy that okay, you're dancing and you're posting a video with them. And in fact, one of my patients, I had posted a video of hers on my profile, and she invited me for her for her child's first birthday, and she actually displayed the reel on a video, and she called me on stage. She's like, okay, that was my guy. She made the reel, so they were so happy about it. So I mean, there are all kinds of people, but we need to basically safeguard ourselves.
I think Varun wanted to add something as well.
Yeah, I just want to add one very important point. Just like ART Act, golden days are going to go away, So be ready for that. So these things, whatever we are doing, what Mohil rightly said is, please put on paper, please take a written consent. Otherwise, you do not know when it is going to come back to you and bite you. And definitely regulation is going to come where so many things you will not be able to do, which you are doing right now. So eventually try to move to a place where you do not need to show patients things, or certain aspect of that which everybody is showing. So this is how transition should also take place once you are progressing in your career. Yeah, for newcomer, fine, let it keep for them. But as and when you're progressing in your career, try to show certain things which will safeguard you from each and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mohil.
Can I ask you everybody one question? You are putting your videos by your own, or you are having a handler to put?
Wait, Mohil. That's coming up later in the panel. Just wait.
Okay. No issue.
Don't
Sorry.
steal our questions right now.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been talking about the boundaries of consent. Let's get to the boundaries on patient-doctor relationship on Insta as well. Into this right now. So how do you maintain a personal and professional boundary on social media, and how do you deal with these incessant questions of patient on Instagram or even on WhatsApp? Wow. Somebody is going up.
Rohan, your echo is
Yeah, Rohan, do you want me to take that?
Yeah, please.
So I mean, I think I'm using essentially Instagram more for a professional aspect itself. There is very limited, maybe about only 20% of my personal things go on Instagram, and that too, which is very filtered, and things that I want to kind of put across is the only thing that goes. And again, as I said, it's my personal choice that I want to keep it that way. Questions, I think on Instagram, honestly, I have, again, as I said, so this is something that I kind of do. None of my patients have my personal number. None of them have it. I think this is something that for almost 7 years, we've been doing it. No matter how high profile the patient is, no one has my number. They only have the team's number, and they can connect via an online consult using the team at any given point in the day. And obviously for emergencies, they can always reach out to the clinic. And the most important question we kind of keep asking is, what will happen if there is an emergency in the night? So I keep telling people that there is no emergency which can be handled on a phone. It's as simple as that. you tell me that there is a stomach pain or bleeding or any of the conditions, I can't, handle over the phone. And if you feel that it is an emergency, then you have to come to the emergency room, and it's only there that we are going to, see the patient or give the opinion. But yeah, I'm actually wanting to hear how, and of course, obviously, because of that about 10% of the patients are always cribbing about it, and they kind of get very upset that we don't give number, or someone didn't pick up the call at 2 o'clock in the night, so on and so forth. But I have learned to let go of that 10-20% of the clientele to kind of make sure I have or maintain my peace of mind.
Yuvraj, in fact, this was a discussion Yuvraj and I were having about a couple of weeks back about how he gets bombarded with so many questions, not necessarily professional only, but a lot of personal questions from all his followers. So, Yuvraj, how are you able to maintain that balance as well?
See, at this point, you can't do anything. You have to just ignore, But I'll be very honest, when I started off, you're a little hungry also to do well. So then you want to please everyone. So when I started off, I'll be very honest, I was trying to reply to a lot of people. And as much as possible, I used to reply. But like once you start crossing certain number of followers, it's almost impossible to reply. So as of now, yes, but it's sometimes it's a good thing also, if a person wants to know whether you're married or not, if a person wants to know what you eat, and if a person wants to know about your sex life and your sexuality, there's just no boundary. They want to know everything, but that also means that they're interested in you. It doesn't mean you need to engage, of course. So you don't need to engage, and I think now most of them understand that you're not going to get a reply, but फिर भी वो लोग message करते हैं. As far as putting about personal stuff on Instagram is concerned, again, that is also, for me, it's still very balanced. I'm not one of those person. I'm really not comfortable putting everything out on Instagram about my personal life. So that is also, as Apurva said, even if it's personal, it's very filtered. I know ki yehi rakhna hai, but I do try to, because I think initially also Pooja said that, a lot of them want to know. They want to know that personal human side of you, what you're doing outside the hospital after a point. And then that's also like a trick you play, it's like playing with their head, where you're trying to get them in a friendly zone, but still trying to be a doctor on Instagram. So you have to kind of maintain that balance. बहुत ज़्यादा personal डाला, it backfires, and putting some amount of personal filtered, it kind of eases a lot of patients out. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I think it's a little bit difficult, and it's a fine balancing line. I think to each person, it matters their own way of going about it. Like for me personally, I have a professional account and I have a personal account. As pretty much all of you know, I would prefer to stay off social media as far as possible, my personal life. But professionally, yes, I do end up answering a lot of questions. But for consults, as Apurva said, I generally keep a template ready that if there are questions, that please figure out for an online consult. Aditi, let's move to the next question.
Yeah, so I think we've this is pretty much an overlap. If you post your private life on your professional account, is there any fear of being judged? Maybe if you share a photo of you with a drink, or say you're having something unhealthy, is there a pressure of practicing what you preach and setting the perfect example? Varun, maybe you can take that.
Yes, I am very conscious on those things. So yes, there is always in my back of the mind a constant thing that what I'm going to post is going to reach to so many people. Not only that, it is going to be there for eternity. So be very conscious about what I'm very conscious about what I'm posting. So yeah, I have that thing.
Okay. Pooja, you post a lot about your personal life as well. What do you think about this?
Yeah, for me, I don't mind posting an unhealthy burger because I don't tell people not to eat. I tell people to eat. So I don't, and the days I don't work out, I know I don't work out. Still, people think I work out every day. So that's their image. Only thing I don't post about is alcohol, because alcohol is something which is, I think, still doctors can't post about, because anyway, Gujarat is a dry state. Plus, if I'm drinking here, if somebody goes in labor, then they get hyper panic. So I only tell everybody I drink when I'm not in Surat. That's my standard answer. Because if I'm in Bombay partying with all of you, I can't anyway come and do the delivery. So
Pooja, all of us are teetotalers. All of us are teetotalers.
Yeah.
You know,
Tirtha,
also
what's-
when as far as being judged is concerned, I think it's very important. I think we have all reached a point where we don't care being judged in our personal life, but I'm very scared being judged for my professional work. So that's where you want to. If you putting something like, for example, I'll give you a very good example. Like I've had this vaginal wash company after me for ages to brand them and do that, but we don't want to, because it's even though right or wrong, it's a very fine line, and you don't want to cross that line where you want to feel that, you know, your audience starts feeling that he's a sellout in his professional work. So I'm scared being judged for my work where it affects my professional image. Personal, I don't care.
Yeah.
Tirtha, what's your take on this?
Well, on my professional page, I do not put a lot of my personal, like many people didn't know that I was married. That is how much I put out content. One is because even my family is not comfortable, and my husband is a very private person, but he consumes all my content. I think that is the case with all our partners. And professionally, being judged, I mean, we are going to be judged whether we are a doctor or anybody. Even if I put out it's very easy to get misinterpreted on social media. So I think, like Dr. Yuvraj said, we are beyond a point where we care. I mean, what are the comments? I don't think we go down and see the comments also. So yeah, it's a fine balance which you need to maintain, and it's very personal. Like it depends on what you want to put out there into the social media and how comfortable are you sharing. And like Pooja ma'am said, like her patients ask. Many of our patients will not be comfortable. Oh, my doctor is putting out this. There was one patient's husband who came to me and he made me I felt uncomfortable, because he's like, ma'am, you look so pretty in your reels, while his wife was with me for a consult. So that's when I realized that maybe, you know, there are people who are looking at me from that perspective, but that is like 1 in 10. So it all depends on what is your clientele.
Yeah.
You should have asked what in reels. Why? What about real life?
Yeah. Deepti, would you like to add on to this?
I think, Aditi, if we want to be a presence on social media and we want people to follow us, we have to be relatable. Yeah. For that, we do have to share some part of our personal life. Nobody's going to follow you if you put only medical content, because I think they like seeing us being a little human and, you know, being more than doctors. And like a lot of my content is not just about, you know, obs and gynae, but about how I was shamed for, you know, I was on duty and I had really bad period pain and I was told, you know, to just shut up and go on with your work. So that kind of personal experience, or, you know, when you have kids and you're balancing your work and your kids and everything. So I think that's interesting to people. And as long as I'm comfortable sharing it, I don't see why we shouldn't do it.
Fair, absolutely. Okay, Rohan, you want to take this? Yeah, Mohan.
I would like to tell everybody that we all are the celebrities. Here we are talking about the life of a celebrity right now. So congratulations everybody to be a celebrity. Because we have to manage ourselves to professional and private aspects.
Agreed. But celebrities don't have that responsibility of, you know, being doctors. So they have they can post.
They have other issues.
Yeah.
They have other issues. If they pose on Insta, they get called to jail. Ask Ranveer Singh about it.
So it's like
getting back a little. Sorry, yeah, Varun.
The higher you go in your social media platform, the more cautious you have to be. That's the bottom line. So for celebrities, like their followers are in millions, so they are absolutely very cautious what they're posting.
Absolutely. And Varun, on that, they're also dealing with the criticism and trolling like we were just talking about. I'm sure at some point during our posts and everything, you're always going to face a little bit of criticism, a little bit of trolling that ends up happening. We also talked about this at the start. Priya ma'am, how do you deal with it on social media? If there's any negative comment or someone is just counteracting with some random statement or things like that, how do you deal with such things? Do you respond? Do you just ignore? How do you go about it?
So on YouTube, it's very easy because there's no direct connect, and my team anyways looks after the YouTube responses. I don't go through the YouTube comments myself. On Facebook, it is different. I have been active lately on Facebook as a professional page. And yes, you do go through, and I wouldn't say that, what happens is if there are 1,000 people praising you and there's one comment that is very nasty, you will forget those 1,000, but that nasty comment will stay with you. So it's definitely not easy, but as doctors, we have it easier because unlike celebrities who get a lot of trolling, I think we hardly have any people who are after us or trying to trouble us. But yes, as you go along, I think you develop a thick skin and you deal with it.
I just feel that we are a little bit more sensitive towards these comments than the other celebrities, I think, because for us, even that one comment really hits us a lot harder than I think it would. Apurva, what is your take on it? And Deepti, I would want to hear your take on this as well. Apurva?
Yeah, I think as I said, that sometimes whenever I feel that it's I think as Priya ma'am has rightly said, that it's very unlikely. I wouldn't say with respect to Instagram or this thing. I think I have experienced it on a Google review. Wherein someone kind of gives you a very nasty review. I think it used to kind of just crush my heart. And so after that is when I decided that I will not read reviews. So that's why I don't read neither a positive review nor a negative review. I have stopped doing that. And we just have our team or our staff who kind of make sure they connect with patients, and they just make sure at least there are enough number of positive reviews to kind of overcome or outshadow the negative reviews that are there. But yeah, see, I think we have about 2,000 odd reviews that are there on Google, but I still remember only those 10 reviews, which are crushing. And I don't know, and the only way I have dealt with it is not reading it. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
What is it?
Deepti?
So I think in the beginning when I started, I used to obsess over comments and who said what and kind of argue with people. But then Tanaya, so at Dr. Cutress, she gave me like this brilliant piece of advice. So if you get a nasty troll or a nasty comment on Instagram, what you do is you just pin that comment and then let the people who like you and people who respect you defend you for you, and they just sit back and enjoy the madness. So that has really helped. I only call out people who I feel have a substantial standing on social media and have some sort of responsibility. So if they're trolling me and they are people who other people would look up to or respect, then I feel the need to call them out. Otherwise, I try to just not respond because you don't feed the trolls.
Absolutely. I think I actually saw a reel today saying that it was in fact one of Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli's, where Anushka Sharma was saying that earlier in my career, I used to react. Now I've learned to respond. It's been better for my life as well as for yours, Virat. And it was something that was quite comical. And at the same time, it made a lot of sense to it that at the start of your career, we end up reacting to each and every small thing. It's eventually as we get seasoned, we realize that it's important to assess and respond rather than just react to something.
Yeah.
Pooja, you wanted to say something. I saw you.
No, I have decided to ignore. I don't react.
Yeah,
So
I think that's also a good approach.
yeah, because last year we had organized a kids run with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, we just wanted to do a kids run. And some 4-5 females, good, not doctors, they started trolling us on social media that they've copied our idea, saying that a kids run is nothing to copy about. It's just something which we wanted to do. So we ignored. My partner was very scared. She said, let's post it, let's take the picture and put that we've not done this, we've not. I said, completely ignore and carry on with our own thing. And it worked. So,
I think it also depends on the day we are having in the hospital, you know. Most of the times we will ignore. Varna jis din hamara din kharab gaya, us din the troll also has had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Rohan.
Yeah, more.
I would like to tell you one thing, everybody, that negative publicity is one kind of publicity.
Yeah.
So go ahead with it. Take a chill pill.
Just deal with it as it comes.
Yeah. It doesn't make any difference to us.
Any way of preventing this from happening? I think I'm going to just see everyone smiles and say that no, I don't think there's any way of preventing this from happening. All right,
you can't do that.
Let's go to the next question, because we're pretty much running a little bit short on time.
All right. So, we're gynecologists and we do have to deal with issues around sex toys, orgasm, lubrication, vaginas, penises, etc. How comfortable are you talking about all of these things on social media? Divya, are you here?
Yes. So very honestly, this is something I did not have to think about a lot, or get into the comfort zone for to speak about, because as a child, this is going to be funny, but I have literally taught everyone about sex in school in 7th standard in a very scientific way, because I used to open the encyclopedia and tell everyone, oh, this is how it's done, this is how it's done. So when you're sitting in front of a camera and you don't know who's watching you and you don't know how people are going to react, it's even easier to do something like this, because it's such a basic thing, right? It's something that we all should openly talk about. Secondly, I have also worked with brands of sex toys, vibrators, lubricants, and I have been trolled a lot and I've got absolutely disgusting comments. And like Dr. Deepti said, we usually end up pinning these comments, and the people who really like you and respect you will defend you for that. And very fortunately, people have defended me and said that, it's okay to talk about this. It's normal. It's okay to talk about pleasure, sex toys, sex. And it very honestly only makes me stronger. It makes me want to do it even more, because it makes me realize that it is a taboo topic and untabooing it is a big task at hand. So that is something we're doing on social media. All of us are trying and doing it. But yes, it does come with its cons, but that's what we have to overcome.
Yeah,
I'm very comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you're saying is absolutely right. And yeah, Yuvraj, would you like to add something?
Okay. Let's agree that we don't live in a perfect world. All right. So there is one point which we all know what is right. There are so many things that are right, moral, and ideal, but we all are not able to follow that. I have learned it in my experience. I think we need people who talk about it. There are enough people who are talking about it. All great respect and kudos to them. But I've realized, and this is what I try to, so I'm not like an authority on social media or something, but if someone comes and asks me for opinion, I now have learned to say that, you have to be very careful how you post it. It's about how you're presenting it. Because believe it or not, you cannot run away from that tag and your reputation of being a doctor. I'm not saying we are great, but because of your practice, and I learned it from a very, very professional experience a year back when I started seeing patients in Mumbai. And I used to work with a very close friend, Dr. Jaishi Sharad, who's like very famous in Bollywood. And she referred me a very famous actress from Bollywood, and she went through my Instagram account. And probably that was the time when I was posting a lot of things about sexual health. She immediately went back and told, why are you referring me to him? He's not an infertility specialist. He's a sex doctor. She's wrong. I agree she's wrong. But are you going to go and fight with her? How are you going to know? You've lost out on a good patient. So that day I realized that you have to first learn the knack of doing it. One. Second, you have to put it 5 fertility. We are gynacs at the end of the day. You know, how many patients of sex toys are you seeing in a day? So why do you want to post it every day, first of all? Okay. There are so many other basic requirements also that we need to know. How many of us are talking about anemia? How many of us are talking about thyroids? How many of us are talking about maternal things and products? So there are a lot of things to post about it. I'll keep it short. So I think we need to post about it, but now I'm very conscious. Usually these kind of topics I write. So my practical tips is I like to post these things as more as carousels, more as verbal content, verbatim written content, rather than me being in that. Second thing, what I made it a rule is I stopped anyways, and now I've stopped endorsing anything but endorsing these products who are giving us a lot of money to kind of put an ad for a sex toy. All due respect to whoever does it, I'm really not disrespecting anyone, but I realize that is going to. And also remember, unfortunately, we live in a country where still there is a gender bias. So I, being a male gynecologist, I don't want, when my 90% of patients are female, I don't want them to come and look at me and see my reels where I'm talking, I'm using a sex toy or a lube or something. It's just the verbal the presentation comes across as a little uncomfortable for the patient. But it has to be done, and there are people who are doing it, and carrying the torch ahead, and I really appreciate it. But for people who are practicing, I think we need to do it with caution.
Agreed. I think, whatever you said is fair, but we also have to understand that there are so many women that don't even know what an orgasm is, So we kind of need to even educate women about things like that, and even something like vaginismus, which is something which is a very sensitive issue. People are not aware of it. People don't come out in the open and talk about it. So I think we need to have a balance. We can kind of speak about all of these things as well as infertility, but just in terms of educating people, I think we can do it very tactfully, I would say.
Correct. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're running short of time. So,
I'll tell you just a very interesting thing. So I used to put a lot of queer sexual health knowledge stuff on Instagram. And that also really very badly was, used to backfire on me. People used to send it to my parents. People used to send it to my family members. In fact, a lot of queer NGOs used to come and start messaging me that who are you to talk about all this, and what do you know about queer community, and why are you representing us? So, it's just what I'm trying to say is that since we've all started, as Dr. Priya started YouTube, and a lot of us have now started, if now everyone is coming. So what I'm trying to just tell here is to all the youngsters, because look, at the end of the day, there is you have to decide on one thing. Do you want to become an influencer, or do you want to become a practicing doctor? Yes, ye do cheez ko we have to separate it. If you want to be an influencer, chuck off everything else, do whatever you want to do your paid brands, take lakhs of rupees, and you can make a career out of it. That is absolutely possible. But if your primary goal is your practice, somewhere it's just be cautious, because it backfires in your practice, and then that kind of frustrates you. So it's just like I'm just trying to say that be cautious, and as you said, maintain how you portray yourself, how you portray it, and because at the end of the day, all what determines is what you want to be.
Yeah. So what is your take on brand endorsements?
I think Yuvraj covered that right now.
I have stopped taking it, very honestly, unless it's a friend or someone who's giving me great amount of money.
Okay, let's make this a quick rapid fire. Let's just make this a rapid fire question. Mohil, what's
Rohan sir, can I just butt in on this one regarding the brand endorsements? Honestly, there was a point where I was looking at options, and I'll very honestly tell you, there are a lot of brands who are approaching me and asking me to endorse them. There have been intimate washes, there have been drugs, there have been sex toys, there have been period panties, pads, everything. So I have chalked out on what I can work with and what I can't work with. And I also believe that as doctors, we end up putting blinders and just working on this primary goal of making money via our patients, or just doing that one particular job, or being in the hospital and making that money. But why not have secondary sources of income when you can? So if you have that kind of reach, if a brand is willing to pay you, if you are believing in the product and you are using it yourself and endorsing it, I don't see how that's wrong, because one, you are coming with credibility. So when you say something and a person goes and believes it, it's absolutely okay, because it's something that you are trusting as well, and you don't mind people using it. Let's say an actor is endorsing something. We see actors endorsing tobacco all the time, right? And people are going and having tobacco. But when a doctor talks about a particular period pad and says that it's okay to use, I don't think there's anything wrong in that. I think that's a positive influence. That's telling people that it's okay to use this product. Also, I think we all have bills to pay. So if it is a place where you can also get a secondary source of income from, why not? It just opens more avenues.
Fair enough. I think yeah, as you
maybe decide what to endorse is the most important decision that you will probably need to make, because
and I think that's a very personal decision as well. So I think it's to each and everyone how they want to balance it. So I actually just wanted to make this a quick rapid fire. I just want to know brand endorsements, yes or no. Mohil, I'll begin with you. Yes or no brand endorsements? I think Mohil's saying no. He's muted though. Tirtha?
No.
I would agree with Dr. Yuvraj. One is money, and the other very important thing is if I believe in the product. Like if you come to me with the lubricant and I don't know the ingredients in it, I'm sorry, I will not endorse it, because like the Dr. Divya said that, we come with a lot of credibility, and with great power comes great responsibility. So what I'm putting out there, it's going to be consumed by a lot of people, and many of them are impressionable. There are a lot of teenagers who are going to consume the content. So whatever I say, it has to be black or white as a doctor. That's what I believe in. So brand endorsements only if I know what is in the product. If I believe in it, then I'll do the product.
Priya ma'am?
No, I wouldn't ever endorse a product. And the reason is very simple. As doctors, we have to live by the MCI and now the NMC code of conduct, and no doctor can be ever seen advertising anything. We think that we can't advertise drugs, but practically as a doctor, you can't take money and endorse anything. That's the code that you have to live by. And if somebody complains in MCI, then your name is definitely going to be struck off the register. Second thing is that I myself endorse a particular brand of period panties, some other menstrual products, but I never take any money for it. Because I understand that, whatever money I have to make through my patients, not through the drug companies, not through endorsements. So that is my take. But of course, I'm a very different generation from all of you. So allow me to be a little old fashioned.
No, but that's actually, that's what we want to hear, everyone's viewpoint. And that's why we've gone through our seniors, colleagues, and juniors as well. Varun? Brand endorsement?
Yeah. Only very specific, and what Priya ma'am said is correct, that if you don't involve money in that, then it is okay. But because money comes with conflict of interest that everyone has to understand, even though it's a noble cause. So if you want to safeguard yourself, do that, plus do a contracting in a very good way. So whatever you are doing, please put it on paper. So that is also one aspect of it. So very specific, if useful, with what I feel is right, I would do it. Otherwise, no.
Pooja?
No, I don't do brand endorsements, but I can give a shout out to a friend who's starting something new. I mean, a new restaurant or a new designing studio, but medical endorsement, I've not done. I don't want to do. Because there's no time basically to get ready, shoot, and I get exhausted.
Fair enough. That's also something that we have to take into consideration. Deepti?
So I don't do brand endorsements that are paid. I haven't been able to somehow. And I also feel that when there is money, there is a bit of, you can't advertise a brand and put it as paid, and people will assume there is a conflict of interest. They will assume that you're doing it because you're getting paid, even if you do fully believe in the brand. And also, I think it's a matter of personal choice, because you're also having your own personal brand that you're putting across. That's why we're all on Instagram. So like Dr. Yuvraj also said, it's about, your personal practice and how you want patients to perceive you, and that kind of trust and image you want to build with your patients. And for me, that doesn't include doing paid brand.
Rohan,
Yeah.
sorry.
Can I just get a quick answer from
Yeah.
Apurva and then
Please, sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. So no for brand endorsements specifically. I think the only thing that I have actually done as a paid partnership was with Dyson for their air purifiers. That was the only thing that I have ever done, and that too, it was for their website, and it was not for Instagram or regular social media per se. So, but yeah, as I said, I'd made a conscious decision in the very beginning itself that I'm not going to look at the endorsement part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Yuvraj, you were just saying something, and then Aditi, let's finish with the rapid fire.
So practically, technically, these people use terms such as direct advertising and indirect advertising. Correct. Direct is when you sit with a box and say, this is the best drug in the world, or XYZ, and use this, and this is nice, and this is this, and this is that. That, as Priya ma'am said, even if they're paying you tons and tons, ethically and as per rule, a doctor is not allowed. Now the question comes about indirect advertising, which is as in you are creating an awareness video, but that is being sponsored by a particular brand. So that is again a little dicey. I'm still not sure what the rule is there, but there, for example, you're just talking about myths about menstruation, but it's sponsored by that particular brand of menstrual hygiene product. Now, in that case, it's a gray line. Probably you might get away with it. All right. So that you have to be very aware. One thing is for sure that we all have learned is just stop doing direct ads. We are never going to say that this drug should be consumed, or we should never say that this product should be consumed. But probably, and Varun pointed out, a very good thing that the contract should be really right, because now all of them come with a contract. So if you're signing that contract, make sure that one, it's not a direct ad, and the second, you never use the word that use this product or use this. If it's an awareness campaign which you're a part of and getting paid off, I'm still not sure whether we can do it or not. But as of now, it's a gray area. So I think that's somewhere where you can probably go away and get away with.
Aditi, should we now quickly finish with the rapid fire?
Yeah, let's. This is just a yes or no questions. Do you hire content creators or decide content yourself? Write content yourself. Varun.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, Aditi, yes, I self-create.
Self-create. Okay. Has anybody hired content creators?
Not for the
Hired an editor.
Editor. Okay.
Me too. Hired an editor.
Okay. All right.
Hi,
Do you
Divya.
follow
Self-creating.
Pooja?
For my page, I do it myself. For Nimaya, I've hired a content creator.
Okay. All right. No, so the next question, do you follow trends? Like, the kind of trends that are on Instagram all the time. Do you follow them?
Yes.
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 We try to.
Try to keep up.
And fail miserably sometimes, but we try to.
Right. Okay. This one is interesting. Would you dance for views? Tirtha.
Sorry.
Not for views, but since I like putting out content in a dance form, I put it out. I mean, if I do like what to eat during pregnancy, I've done that dancing, or something different, because that catches your eye. Yeah. So if I can do it while dancing, and I'm being modest, I dance pretty okay. So yeah. So if I'm giving out information as well as fulfilling my creative side, I will.
Okay. Pooja?
Yeah, so one patient was a content creator herself. So she wanted me to do this dance step before the C-section. I did it, but it's only once. But well.
We all are the famous 60 happy doctors. How can you say you're not going to dance?
That's true.
We've created this. All started with that video in COVID where we all have danced.
Yes.
Pooja, thank you.
Mohil?
No, I never dance. I won't dance. I don't move. I move myself in laparoscopy only, nothing else.
Deepti?
I think we need to keep having fun on Instagram. It gets boring to just put out normal blah 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 yada videos. So I think we do need to do something fun that we enjoy. So yeah, I would.
Great, awesome. Dr.
I
Priya?
can't. I mean, I can't imagine myself doing that. I think I don't belong to this this generation. So I have a very serious persona on YouTube. You know, patients tell me that you don't even smile in your videos. So I can't ever see myself doing the usual Instagram stuff. But
Yeah, ma'am, I can't imagine you not smiling even in your videos.
I don't smile in my YouTube videos.
No.
Yeah.
I think sharing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm comfortable with the dancing reel per se. Yeah, I guess it's an individual choice, but that's a definite no for me.
Okay, okay. Varun?
No for dancing reels, but yeah, if I have a good partner, then I would think about it.
Fair. Okay. I think we've already spoken about sharing testimonials. Anyone wants to say anything about that? Because that was
Dr.
all.
Aditi, you tell us about dancing. You are a great dancer yourself. You have to tell us whether yes or no for dancing.
For sure, I mean, look, we did such a nice collab dance reel on on Instagram, and it had nothing to do with health. So I think it's fine. I think we can be absolutely creative, and if we like doing something, if we enjoy it, why not?
Completely
What
agree. I
about
mean,
you,
it's
Rohan?
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Rohan?
yet danced. I don't think I've yet danced
Oh,
for.
you are a great dancer, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever danced for Instagram or for any reels.
yeah, so but we all know how good a dancer you are. So once you start putting on Instagram, then none of us can.
Yes.
Divya, if you send me some of your followers, I'll start dancing on Instagram.
Someone else showed me all your dancing videos. I am a fan.
Okay, anyways, we'll now just end with the panel. Firstly, thank you to each and every one of you for taking out your valuable time and being with us. I have to thank the moderator, Dr. Aditi Tandon. She's also the coordinator for today's program, our conveners for the program, Komal ma'am and Niranjan sir, for giving us this opportunity to be here. And Komal ma'am, once again, I want to thank you and I want to wish you all the best for your Foxy vice presidential elections. So everyone on the screen, if you've not yet voted, please vote for Komal ma'am as well. And Aditi, over to you to just go on with the rest of it.
Thank you, Rohan. And thank you to all of my panelists. I think we had a fun discussion and also certain important takeaways that we learned from this discussion. Also, thank you to Dr. Komal Chavan ma'am for, I think it was her idea and it's pretty progressive to even think having a discussion like this, on a webinar. And best wishes to Dr. Komal ma'am, and we all need to support her wholeheartedly. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of Dr. Komal, she is busy on another line. I thank each one of you, and really I have been glued for last 1 hour and listening to all the things which are really, as Rishikesh said, we are, now gone beyond understanding, but really a lot of things have changed in the last 3 generations, and especially of your generation has made a impact on the patients, and also ethical standards have to be maintained and decorum has to be maintained, and that's what you all are doing. And I'm really happy. Nice to hear from Narendra Malhotra sir and Aditi. You have done a wonderful job for the grand finale. Komal had this idea 3 or 4 weeks ago to have all of you on who are on the social media there together. So thank you on behalf of Komal and
Thanks, Shield Connect, and thank each one of you who have spent your valuable time today and giving so much important, valuable inputs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.